Good morning, and welcome to the 2025 season of CCT Sub 1. We've had a little change in schedule, and so Sub 1 will be meeting on Wednesday mornings instead of Friday mornings. For Thursday night caucus goers, you're welcome. And so to kick us off, I'd love to ask our members on this sub to do introductions. I'd love to hear your name, your district, a little bit about the composition of your district, and as a fun icebreaker question, and because it's 7:30, tell me about your favorite coffee shop in your hometown. And so I'm gonna start to the left of my dais here, down here.
On the spot, oh wow, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ian Lovejoy, proudly representing House District 22, which makes up Middle Prince William County in Northern Virginia. I'm one of the rare souls who doesn't really drink coffee, so may God help me through this day. Thank you.
Scott White, representing the 60th District, part of Hanover and part of New Kent County, and it's a great rural county, but we're close enough to the urban area where we have conveniences, but it's great to be here. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Joe McNamara. I represent the 40th District, which is all of Salem, parts of Roanoke City and Roanoke County. I own an ice cream store that sells coffee, and so that would be my favorite place to get coffee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Delegate Elizabeth Bennett Parker. I represent the 5th District, which is in Alexandria. I did not drink coffee until I started this job, but now I do. And the shop geographically closest to me is my favorite, and that is St. Elmo's.
Good morning. I'm Alex Askew, Delegate for the 95th District with parts of Virginia Beach and Norfolk. And I would say, and I probably met with a few of you there, probably Cold Center, Town Center Cold Press in Virginia Beach because it's convenient.
Good morning. My name is Deborah Gardner, and I represent the 76th District, which is Chesterfield County, the northern and the eastern part. We're like suburban Richmond, but we had water, so I'm really grateful for that. I don't drink coffee, but I drink tea, and my favorite place to go to get that is Stir Crazy, which is a coffee shop. Thank you.
Good morning. And Madam Chair, I assume there's no time limit? My name is Fernando Marty Martinez. I am delegate from District 29, which is the town of Leesburg in Northern Virginia and Central Loudoun pretty much. And yes, I drink coffee. So thank you.
Well, thank you all. And I'm Irene Shin. I represent the 8th District, which is entirely inside Fairfax County, encompasses the town of Herndon, the Chantilly, and neighborhoods in Fair Oaks. And there's a great coffee shop in the town called Weird Brothers. And it's a great locally owned coffee shop that is the first roastery in the town of Herndon. And so it's really great. I really love Weird Brothers, and I am a coffee fiend. I also wanted to make sure that we shout out at our staff here today to help us make this all work. We've got Susan, hi Susan, our room clerk. We've also got Ashley and Jeb doing AV for us in the back. Hello, thank you. And then Jeff and Clerk Claude, if you want to do quick intros of yourself and tell us about your favorite coffee shop in your hometown too.
Yeah, you go.
Jeff Sharp with Legislative Services, and I'm also not a coffee drinker, although I do make it for my wife at home. Thanks.
I've been clerk of this committee for a few years, and I drink a lot of coffee down here, so my favorite is our coffee room in committee operations right now.
Well, thank you both so much. The work of CCT could not happen without this incredible team, and so I thank you, Clerk Claude, I thank you, Jeff, and I thank you, Jeb and Ashley, for making this all work, and also Susan, thank you. So, as a reminder, in conjunction with the chair, the Uber chair of CCT, it is my job to make sure that we are coordinating the activities of this subcommittee and the work before us to keep order and decorum as we operate effectively and efficiently, hopefully. And any member of the committee who wishes to speak, if you'll push your speak button, I'll be sure to call on you. And public participation, as per usual, will be highly encouraged. We're going to make sure that we give an opportunity to the public to always participate and engage in the the work that we're doing before us. Yeah, let's get started. Our first order of business today on the agenda, I'm going to call up Delegate Simons if she's in the room for HB 1827. Ms. Delegate Simons, I'm so sorry. Might I first ask if we could officially take roll call and get attendance? I'm sorry, Clerk Clody.
Okay, hold on. Somebody's already doing it. I am on board. When I start, this one for, hold on, I got to cancel this one. That's clear and return. Okay, give me a second.
Bear with us as we go through these technology attendance vote. If members will please indicate your attendance on your voting board.
Yeah.
Got to drink more coffee, Marty. Thank you. If you'll close the roll, please. Great, and we have everyone here. And Delegate Simons, I'm sorry for that. Please proceed.
I have a bill about comprehensive planning and the social determinants of health. For a long time, comprehensive planning has been about the built landscape, roads, buildings, sewer systems, infrastructure. HB 1827 is about making sure comprehensive planning puts the spotlight on people and their health. This is a permissive bill which allows localities to use existing social determinant of health data known in the medical community as SDOH as part of its next and any subsequent review of the comprehensive plan. For example, the Virginia Department of Health already has really good data on health equity indicators by locality. This data will help planners identify neighborhoods with high health burdens or older populations. It will help communities plan for the future health needs, such as access to medical clinics, physical therapy, housing for people aging in place. It will account for maternal health deserts, access to healthy food, opportunities for exercise and walkable neighborhoods, and all of the things that we know make for a healthy community. And I do have folks here to speak in favor of the bill.
That sounds great. Thank you, Delegate Simons. I think I will maybe take testimony and then open it up to members on the dais to ask questions, if that order works for you. Okay, great. We're going to ask folks who are in support of, if you would please come to the podium.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
My name is Kim Sutterth, and I live in Norfolk. I am representing Virginia Interfaith Power and Light this morning. We are in support of HB 1827. Currently, the City of Norfolk is just over the middle of our 2050 comprehensive plan, and we were very intentional about including those social determinants of health in that planning process. Poverty rates, educational opportunities, and also working hand in hand with our local and state health departments. And so this bill will encourage other cities and towns to do the same. So we hope that you will also be in favor of HB 1827. And just to participate in the check-in question, my favorite coffee shop is the High Cup in Norfolk. Thank you.
I gotta get to Norfolk, apparently. Thank you, Kim. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jay Ford with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. We're very excited about this piece of legislation. I think something I would flag for you all is this encourages localities to put to paper a lot of the information that federal grants look for. And so, again, this is something that the localities can choose to do, but it does put them in a better position to pull down federal dollars. So it's an excellent planning tool. And then from our perspective, when you lay a lot of this data out there, it often leads to a lot of green infrastructure and nature-based planning to try and help alleviate some of those concerns and make sure people have access to natural resources. So for those and many other reasons, we support this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Madam Chair. My name is Davis Gammon. I'm with the Virginia Hospital and Healthcare Association. It's great to be with you this morning. We support the legislation. We know that so much of what determines how our patients arrive and present in our hospital is determined outside of the hospital. And that includes access to housing and transportation, key elements of a comprehensive plan. So by incorporating social determinants of health and public health information into local planning and development, we can take an important step toward improving overall community health, but also improving health outcomes in our facilities as well, because we know that the two are very much connected. The city of Danville has taken important steps to integrate social determinants of health data in and throughout their comprehensive plan, their most recent comprehensive plan. We think that was an important step and is helpful to the health system as we do our own strategic planning. So for those reasons and several others, we support the legislation, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to speak in opposition of this bill? Seeing none, thank you. Members of the committee, any questions? Delegate, is it McNamara or Wyatt who has a question? Oh, nobody has a speak. Oh, maybe McNamara. Okay, Delegate McNamara, I'm so sorry. I see you now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we've seen a bill very similar to this in past years, but I think it was to a single locality as opposed to the entire Commonwealth. I think when we looked at this bill before, as it exists without any changes, the code, it does say that we will best promote health, safety, morals, prosperity, and general welfare of the inhabitants, including the elderly and persons with disabilities. And so I think and we've heard that certain localities are taking into account the determinants of health and the way they develop their comprehensive plan. The concern I have with the bill, and from a bigger perspective, and maybe you can address it, social determinants of health as defined in section 32(1)-23-6, I don't know exactly what all is in that section, but I do recall there being that the quality of the air you breathe and all is impacted in the health, and I'm concerned that this will be utilized to try to restrict development of certain types of technologies, whether it's gas stoves or other types of which we've seen in California as an example. And so could you address that, or that was my concern in the past. It hasn't really changed. Is there something that I'm not understanding? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we've really tried to do a different bill. We had done a Healthy Communities Strategy bill for the last couple of years. That might be what you're thinking about. So we left out all of that for another day, another session, and we narrowed it down to just looking at the social determinants of health data. And the reason I got interested in this is because I was on the Maternal Health Data Task Force, where we spent an entire year talking about health data. So I knew that all the health data was out there. I just wanted to make sure that when the citizens are involved in the comprehensive planning process, and if they happen to look at the code for comprehensive planning, that they know that they can use that social determinant of health data. And I do think that it is increasing in awareness in terms of like what we heard about grants. I think it's more and more people are talking about social determinants of health. So it's right that it be included in the comprehensive plan because that data is out there. And I'm really thinking about population health here. What are the populations that might need services that the comprehensive plan can plan for, like aging in place? Do we have a pocket, and in rural communities, Do we have areas where you've got an aging population where maybe you need to plan for more housing for the elderly? So I think it's going to be a really powerful tool. The data's already there. Let's just make sure they're using it.
Thank you, Delegate Simons. Delegate Bennett Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I was able to look up the code section referenced, and the social determinants of health means conditions that affect health risks and health outcomes, including healthcare access and quality, education access and quality, social and community context, economic stability, and neighborhood and built environment. And I think we've heard from the patron as well as testimony to the importance of this bill. It's supported by the healthcare industry, the Hospital Association, recognizing the importance of health in our communities, and I would move to report the bill.
Second.
I hear a motion, and it's been properly seconded. If clerk, you would please open up the roll, and members can cast their votes.
Do we have a motion
Yes, there was a motion to report.
and a second?
Yes, and a second. It's okay. Members, please cast your votes. If you'd please close the roll, Mr. Clerk. The bill reports 5-3. Thank you, Delegate Simons.
Thank you, committee.
And we've got some competing and conflicting committee schedules, so we're going to ask Delegate Askew from the day. However, if you'd like to go to the podium or present from the dais at your discretion, if you would present HB 1696, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, today we have before the committee a charter change brought to us by the City of Norfolk, HB 1696. As I mentioned, the City of Norfolk requests an amendment to this section 62, 63, 64, and 114 of the Norfolk City Charter to exempt the position of Deputy Fire Chief of Fire Rescue from the classified services of the city. The legislation will essentially conform with the current class of our Norfolk Police Department deputy police chiefs. If passed, the deputy fire chiefs of the fire rescue report directly to the Norfolk Fire Chief. Before it was a little conflated and confusing, so it's a sort of a fix to that.
Great, thank you, Delegate Askew. I will ask if, in the same order, we'll take public testimony and then we'll take questions from the members of the committee. Are there any folks in the room who would like to testify in support of HB 1696?
Brian Pennington, representing City of Norfolk. We support the bill.
Good morning and thank you. Any others? Are there any folks in the room who are here to speak in opposition of this bill? Okay. Members of the committee, questions, comments?
Okay.
Delegate McNamara.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I might, Madam Chair, ask the patron if this was addressed by the City Council and approved by the City Council. Thank you.
Delegate Askew.
Well, I would say to Madam Chair, I would say to the delegate that a representative of the City of Norfolk just spoke in favor of it. So I would say yes.
We could ask him to come back if he wouldn't mind and answer if this is supported by the city.
Yes, Madam Chair. The legislative package for City of Norfolk was passed on December 10th by council resolution, and it included this specific change, sir.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other questions? If none, Mr. Clerk, would you please open the roll? Members, please cast your votes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
The bill, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Now we can open the vote, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Delegate Askew, 1696 reports unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the committee.
If you would please close the roll. Okay, great. Moving right along. Delegate Hayes, I thought I saw him. Good morning, Delegate Hayes. You have two bills before us today.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I think the first one we'll take up is is House Bill 1634.
Yes, Delegate Hayes. 1634.
All right. So, Madam Chair, members of the committee, House Bill 1634 is a measure that will modify and give the ability, according to the City of Portsmouth's wishes and their local ordinances, to change the function of which they're collecting data about the small and minority-owned businesses in conjunction with a disparity study that was conducted by the city. So going forward, instead of those that role being done from the procurement officer for the city, that responsibility will be under the authority and auspices of the city manager. And that's in essence what the bill does.
Great. Thank you, Delegate Hayes. Are there any folks in the room who are here to speak in support of HB 1634?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Sherry Neal. I'm the Intergovernmental Affairs Manager for the City of Portsmouth, and we definitely support this. This was passed by council, and they did public hearings and all. And the disparity studies have been going on since 2015. This is going to be a good help for us, so we hope that you will favorably pass it. Thank you.
We're going to get you some coffee, too. Thank you very much. Is there anyone in the room who wishes to speak in opposition of this bill? Seeing none. Members of this committee, are there any questions for the patron? I see none.
Madam Chair, hearing none, I would move to report the bill.
Second.
Having been moved to report and properly seconded, Mr. Clerk, if you'd please open the roll. And members, please cast your votes. Thank you. The HB 1634 reports on a basis of 6-2. Thank you, Delegate Hayes.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Next.
And the other bill that we have is 1645.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, members of the committee, this is a charter bill change from the City of Chesapeake. And in essence, what the bill is accomplishing is allowing the city to shift completely to a change that the General Assembly has enacted in 2021. In 2021, the General Assembly changed all mayoral, city council, and school board elections from May to November. And there were certain cities specifically that were impacted. Chesapeake was one of those. The city of Chesapeake had a nuanced policy that simply said, if you were a city council member that was sitting, if you decide to run for mayor and it's not your cycle for your term to be completed, then you shall forfeit your seat on the city council. The local ordinance said that since the elections were in May, that person, that individual that seeks to challenge and run for the seat of mayor has to forfeit their seat June the 30th. So in other words, July 1, they will not be able to continue their term on city council if they lost that challenge. Well, when we changed the local election from May to November, many would believe by default that that would mean the individual would give up their seat December the 31st. And then on January 1st, the individual would have to vacate their seat. Well, there was confusion by the council this past election cycle, and this bill will clarify that by changing that date from July 1 to January 1st. That is in essence what the bill does.
Great. Thank you, Delegate Hayes. I'm going to let folks speak, and then we'll take questions from the dais. Are there folks in the room who are here to support HB 1645? Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. David Westcott on behalf of the City of Chesapeake. As always, we appreciate Delegate Hayes carrying this bill for us, as well as Senator Craig in the Senate. This is a bipartisan bill, and we hope that you support it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in the room who wishes to oppose? Okay, seeing none, members of the committee, are there any questions you all have? Seeing none, we operate by motion.
Madam Chair, I move to report.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded to report. Mr. Clerk, if you would please open the roll and members cast your votes. Eight to 0, HB 1645 moves to report is reported.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
Thank you. And last but certainly not least, straight from our dais, Delegate Martinez, you've got a bill before us too. 1774. Would you like to present at the podium or from the dais? Okay, great. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 1774 seeks to ensure that residents in incorporated towns receive the same services from their county as residents in unincorporated portions of the county. Counties provide certain services to its taxpayers, including animal control services, building code enforcement services, and health appointment services. In the case of Leesburg and Loudoun County, the county has been unwilling to provide some of these services to residents residing with incorporated towns without having a memorandum of understanding with the town. The town's position is that the county should offer these services automatically, the same as it would to properties, businesses, residents in unincorporated areas of Loudoun County to town residents. An MOU should be established if a town has a specific service that it undertakes that conflicts with the county program, or if a town has specifically requested a different level of service that is provided by the town. And if I might add, the intent is not to do away with memo of understandings. Its intent is not to do away with current memo understandings with towns that want to work with the county on specific services like trash pickup and other things. What this is doing is trying to level the playing field, that a taxpayer who lives in a town should not have to be a memo of understanding just to get the same services like animal control in the town. And right now, we have issues with that in the town of Leesburg, and I'm sure there's other towns that would like those services automatically provided without having to go through the process of a memo of understanding. Public services provided by counties, such as building code enforcement, animal control, and health department services, have very little, if any, variation between localities. Providing these services without the need for an MOU with towns promotes efficiencies in local government and standardized services between town residents and those living in unincorporated counties. Town residents pay all the same taxes as those living in unincorporated areas of the county. This would ensure that all taxpayers receive equal services. There is currently a lack of consistency between MOUs required between towns and counties throughout Virginia. Some counties require them, sometimes they do not. There are even variations with the same county in different towns. I would like to acknowledge that Keith Markle, Deputy Town Manager of the town of Leesburg, is here virtually and would like to, if there's any questions about these MOUs and how they impact the towns, I would defer to him for any questions.
Thank you, Delegate Martinez. We do see that there are some folks online who are here to speak, but first I wanted to see if there's anyone in the room who wanted to provide testimony in support of HB 1774. Seeing, is there anyone in the room who would like to speak in opposition of HB 1774? Good morning, Mr. Lurch.
Good morning, Chair Shin, members of the committee, Joe Lurch with VACO. And first I want to thank the delegate for talking with me last week. And I appreciate your testimony this morning because I think I understand a lot more about what you were talking about. This did get sent to the CLG for fiscal impact review. I don't know if it's posted yet, and it might be because of the new system, but I did see it last night. I got it from DHCD. And I think what we're hearing from that review and from some of our members is a concern about what is considered standard county services. And I think the delegate actually provided examples of what you're talking about. I do know that there was concerns that they felt there would be a fiscal impact, but it was indeterminate because they didn't really understand that part of it. And then also concern about just a memorandum of understanding in how a county and a town would work together in providing those. But once again, thank the delegate and would continue to have that conversation. But just wanted to express our concerns as you consider this morning. So thank you.
Duly noted. Thank you. We will now move to online testimony. I believe we have Mr. Markle, who is here in support of this bill. Mr. Markle.
Good morning. Thank you and greetings from Leesburg. First off, I wanted to thank Delegate Martinez for introducing this legislation on behalf of the town. This has been something that's been on our legislative program for several years now. And I won't repeat all the good background information that he provided, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'll just point out we've had a few situations in the Leesburg-Loudoun County relationship where the need for an MOU has caused a delay in service. And one of those situations was several years ago, we had a tenant in a rental property who requested health department support to do inspections due to a bug infestation. And unfortunately, the county wasn't able to provide that service until they had an MOU in place. So what that did was a delay in service and a great inconvenience and risk to the tenant. We've also had situations where we've needed to have the county come in to enforce building code violations, and that too required an MOU. And that's not always the case with all the towns, even within Loudoun County. And throughout the Commonwealth, we know that there are many county-town relationships where MOUs are not required, where they just provide that same standard level of service to those town residents who are also county residents paying county taxes. So we appreciate your consideration and recommendation on this legislation here that would really help to clarify the level of services that counties provide to towns, as well as cut down that unnecessary bureaucracy to create these MOUs when we really have pressing issues where time is of the essence. So thank you again and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Markle. I'm going to ask Mr. Gustafson if you would also provide your testimony. I understand you're signed up in opposition of this bill.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jan Gustafson, and I'm an attorney for the County of Loudoun. For the purposes of my explanation, I'll use Loudoun County and the town of Leesburg as examples, which seems to be apropos here. I'd like to make an important distinction. In some areas, the county has sole jurisdiction in the town. This means the county can provide services to the town by prescription of law without any additional agreement. Examples of these areas are schools and the court system. Now, on the other hand, in some areas, the county and the town have what's called concurrent jurisdiction. An example of concurrent jurisdiction is erosion control and stormwater management. In areas of concurrent jurisdiction, the county does not automatically have clear jurisdiction to provide its services. It's presumed that the town will exercise its jurisdiction unless an agreement is made giving the county jurisdiction. This would be what we're discussing, a memorandum of understanding, or MOU as we call it here in Loudoun. So we see this in the law as well. I'll use this as an example, the erosion and stormwater management law in Title 62.1, which provides that the town may opt for the county to provide these services if they enter into an agreement, an MOU, with the county. Now, the House Bill 1774 is problematic because it raises jurisdictional questions in cases of concurrent jurisdiction between counties and towns. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gustafson. Are there any questions from members of this committee, especially while I think we might still have Mr. Markle on, who might be able to answer some questions if needed. Okay. Seeing no questions, and I see no one pressing any buttons. Delegate Martinez, I'm going to give you the final say on this one before we...
Thank you, Madam Chair. The thing that I want to iterate is this is not taken away. For example, the town of Leesburg memo of understanding between our police department and the county sheriff. It's not taking those away. It's just saying that if there's a health issue, a health department issue, that we don't have to sign a memo of agreement with the county to get the same services that they would have provided any other resident in the county.
Thank you, Delegate Martinez. Delegate Martinez, I have a couple of questions. And Mr. Lurch, do you know if VML has taken a position on this bill? Because I don't see anything written from them. And have you been in conversations with them?
I do not know if they have a position on this bill.
Okay, thank you. And then Delegate Martinez and maybe Mr. Lurch, how would that work? How would the county be responsible for knowing when a service is not provided by the town and like when they were supposed to step in?
Well, it's pretty obvious that when we, in the town of Leesburg, we have redundant services that we provide our citizens that the county doesn't have to provide. Everything outside of that is what we're asking for, is just a level playing field, a little equity in providing services to our residents, the same as they would provide within the town and outside the town, that they all get the same response.
Yeah, the only thing I would add, Madam Chair and Delegate, is just the question about what is standard services in the bill, because I don't think that's defined.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lurch and Delegate Martinez. I also represent a town in my district. The town of Herndon is wholly inside Fairfax County, and so we also understand that the county provides some services and the town provides some services, even if they might seem duplicative. And so without knowing sort of exactly what services that the county would be providing and without those services being listed out, I am a little bit concerned about entering into like murky area.
Well, Madam Chair, if I might,
Sure.
The answer would be for the county and the town to sit down and come up with a memo of understanding on what services to provide or what services would require another memo of understanding.
Sure. Delegate Wyatt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I too represent a county that has a town in it, the town of Ashland, who has the ability to levy taxes against their and provide services as well. And I see this as a disagreement that from one specific town and county that hopefully they'll work it out. But I would, when you see the word require, it really is concerning to me that the counties that already provide services within a town will be required now to require anything that in essence that a town could come up with, that they have the ability and maybe already levy taxes, property taxes. In the town of Ashland, they levy a real estate tax, mobile home tax, personal property tax, data center tax, business license tax, electrical, residential, commercial, gas. There are lots of meals tax, lots of taxes they can levy. So it's got to be some cooperation, and I understand maybe there is a breakdown in this particular instance, but it's a little concerning if we want to require it across the entire Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Wyatt. Well, this committee moves by motion.
Madam Chair, I would move to gently lay this bill on the table.
Second.
I hear a motion that's been properly seconded to very gently lay this bill on the table, and hopefully we can get some more feedback from our partners. And it sounds like there's a study ongoing as well, Mr. Lurch, that might be published on some of these services. So.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I don't know of any study. I was referencing the fiscal impact statement, if that's what you were referring to.
I see. Thank you. Well, there's a motion, and it's been seconded. Mr. Clerk, if you would please open the roll, and members can cast their votes. Mr. Clerk, if you would please close the roll. Thank you, members. Delegate Martinez. thank you for this bill and for your thoughtful input. With that, oh, not me. With that, that concludes our very first meeting of CCNT sub number 1. I appreciate y'all being here and participating in this. We look forward to seeing you bright and early next Wednesday, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time, and we'll see you then.